Geraldo used to be seen as by far the strongest hero in the game, but since then his power has faded away, but there are some strategies that are still really powerful with him. Also, this is completely unrelated, but you know how like a lot of towers look really menacing? I feel like these two towers that I'm showcasing here, Turbocharge and Tech Terror, their art just looks like kind of derpy or something. Especially like the Dark Knight here, like what are you doing? Anyways, let's move on to the actual challenge instead of talking about useless stuff. So this is going to be kind of difficult in a lot of ways. This one definitely took a long time and there is a lot of difficulty to this challenge, and it's just like kind of showing Geraldo's days are done. Well, they've been done for a while. He's still definitely really good with black borders, but in kind of this more modern era where we need to push a lot of cash bear, having something like Geraldo where you have to spend money on him after buying him in the first place, it's just really crazy. And if you want to use it optimally, you're gonna have to get the round 98 restock, which means you can't place Geraldo until the late 50s. I think it's around 58. I actually placed it on around 56 instead, but it still worked out because I didn't need to use the double stock because I practically spent like all the important stock before. So it's just a lot weaker than it used to be. And if you don't really know anything about this, I'll talk about exactly why and like around when. But the strategy that I'm using, the turbocharges and the Tech Terror, are really powerful because the Tech Terror is crazy with Geraldo's rejuve, and the turbocharges have a crazy little interaction with the Jerry Fire, which you'll see later. The early game definitely took a little bit of work, especially because I wanted to greed out those discounts, which will save a lot of money. Doing it without a hero was just quite something, and turbocharges, they're not the greatest way to push into the late game, or I mean not late game, what am I saying, push into the early game. And on top of that, having to go into a super monkey with discounts was just something. I luckily was able to get away without having to spend a whole lot of money, which was really nice. And after getting the robo monkey up, I was on the road and everything was smooth sailing all the way until the 90s, where then things started to kind of get a little bit difficult. I could have saved $110 here on round 63 if I bought the glue strike before round 63. This glue strike is going to be doing a lot. It's going to help a lot on round 100, where I'll need it to be able to do a ton of damage to the bad, and on top of that, it's going to be slowing down a whole bunch of ceramics, and it's going to be really good when kind of big bursts of stuff open up, and it will also help a little bit on 95, something like that. But that's not really the biggest concern in my opinion in this run. It's more so going to be like round 92, round 96, and getting the stall for round 99 is really going to be a bit of an issue, which you'll see a little bit later. You notice there I said 92 and 96, not 98. That's because 98 is going to be extremely easy in this run. In fact, I think I do it on like the first or second try, compared to a whole like 30 minutes each for round 92 and round 96. And yeah, you'll see why that is, but that's because the Tech Terror, we can literally nuke the entirety of round 98 with the Tech Terror. It's that powerful with Geraldo. So that's really cool. But when you get stuff like spaced and long long rounds, then this strategy will definitely suffer a bit, especially considering I'm going to be pushing for a good amount of cash bear. The goal is around 65,000 cash bear. I unfortunately come a little bit short of that. It would be more so around 60, like 61 or 63,000 cash bear potentially, but I make a few mistakes in the late game, which you'll see bumps me down to more so around 58,000 cash bear. Either way, that's still a decent amount, but for the amount of effort that I had to put into this run with Geraldo, it definitely wasn't worth it. So you'll see the turbocharges, they'll do a little bit of damage. They're not doing a whole lot of damage yet because I don't have the Jerry Fire on them. I'll put those on round 91, and then the Tech Terror is just doing its thing. I have the Moab Shove to be able to stall out rounds because I do need to stall rounds for abilities big time. I can use that Tech Terror, but then when the next round comes, I wouldn't have that Tech Terror up, and you kind of just lose. So when I stall the rounds, I get all the abilities up for every round, and I can really save a lot of money like that. I'll eventually have to buy a Moab Glue later too, but besides that, that's really just the end of the setup, and then I'm going to be spending the rest on Jerry items. Now, I did mention at the beginning that Geraldo has fallen out of favor a lot, and that's really just because we don't want to spend money at all. Nobody wants to spend money, especially when you need tons of cash bear, and sometimes Geraldo can really get pretty pricey, especially in a run like this. I'm going to be needing to use a whole bunch of items and a whole bunch of tricks to pinch a bunch of pennies, so it's going to be a little bit annoying when I see like a good $15,000 will end up going into Geraldo, which is 15,000 more than like any other hero. I guess 14,000 if you're using Churchill, something like that. So it's just a whole bunch of issues like that. Round 96, I could not get the stall in round 98, which was a little bit of my fault. I put the genies a bit too far forward, so I ended up having to spend a little bit more on this round, which wasn't that big of a deal. In retrospect, I actually got away with a pretty good deal from this round 96 solution. It just cost a little bit more, but nothing crazy. It's not like I had to buy a whole extra rejuve or something in comparison. Round 97 was no problem, and then round 98 was really cool. Also, on topic with these turbocharges, as you probably see, you might know about this bug that's now kind of a feature because Ninja Kiwi hasn't really done anything about it. It shoots boomerangs, and yeah, it just does that. It literally just does that. There's nothing much else. You can see that was a really cool 98 that I was talking about. Really easy. You just Tech Terror, Rejuve, Tech Terror, it's gone, the entire thing. So that was like the most satisfying part of the run. But then here's round 99. This is very unfortunate. If I get the stall off, I can beat 100 like real easy. And it looks like I get the stall, but at the very end, that genie snipes just the littlest little bit, which was really annoying because I thought I had the stall and I put on fast forward and such 4th, and it just killed the stall. So unfortunately I had to use an extra rejuve on 100, pushing me down from 60,000 to 58,000. I think it's possible to even go up to 63,000 cash pair with the strategy, but that's really going to take a lot more effort. Geraldo in general is just a lot to use, and he's definitely fallen really out of favor, but this is a really cool strategy that would be exclusive to Geraldo. Tech tears I guess you could use well with some other heroes, but really they're just so much better with Geraldo, and the turbochargers, of course, you gotta use them.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!